This is Anthony Richardson, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
This is AJ Brown, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
This is Josh Allen, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
RosterWatch Nation, what is up, and welcome back to another epic RosterWatch Pick'em show. I am Cody Carpentier here on behalf of RosterWatch.com. Make sure you go over to UnderdogFantasy.com today and use that promo code ROSTER to get a deposit match bonus up to $1,000. 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. That means if you put in $500, you get $250. So you have $750. If you put in $1,000, you get $500. So that means you get $1,500. If you put in $50, you get a $25 bonus, and that'll get you up to $75. Do it all over at UnderdogFantasy.com today. Week 14, nearly in the books. We're closing out at 127-83, 60.5% win rate this season. We're doing good across the board. We bounced back above 500 this week. We had one down week. Literally all of November was dubs. It was 86%, 61%, 62% every single week, 73%. Every single week was a success in November. The first week of December, which was week 13, we dropped down to a 7-10 week at 41% on the weekend. And this week we came back with a 7-6, 54%er to get back above 500 into the money-making area. Remember, you make money at 52% in these streets. So we're doing the damn thing. We're doing it good. The bad thing was on primetime last week, we went 0-3. We're bouncing back tonight. We haven't had a slip in one game. You know, one that we do Thursday night, we do Monday night here on Roster Watch. And then we do the weekend slate. The primetime slate is either Thursday night, Monday night, every single week here on the channel. We haven't had a game this year where I've done 5 picks in a single game. And I feel like this is the perfect game to do just that. Joe Burrow and Dak Prescott, Cincinnati and Dallas, two teams that we know can score points. The total in this game set at about 49.5. The point spread's about 5.5 in favor of Cincinnati. You look at what Cincinnati has done over the course of the last month. Cincinnati, again, neither of these teams have won a lot of games, but Cincinnati scored 38, gave up 44. Scored 27, gave up 34. Scored 34, gave up 35. Scored 41, gave up 24. So this team's averaging 35 points per game. On the Dallas side of things, they do have Cooper Rush, not Dak. I don't know why I said Dak a minute ago. It's obviously Cooper Rush, but they have been scoring points the last couple of weeks. Washington, 34. New York, 27. They got blown out by the Philadelphia Eagles and the Houston Texans. But once they traveled to Washington, things kind of switched. The defense started playing a little bit better. Now they have given up 26 and 20 points. I think tonight's going to be a high-scoring game for obvious reasons with these two offenses. They do have Brandon Cooks back in Dallas. They figured out how to use Rico Dowdle. CeeDee Lamb should be a good-to-go player. We're going to end up using CeeDee Lamb tonight in the pick. So make sure you click that like button. Please click subscribe if you are here on the channel. We really appreciate it. We're going to have a big one tonight. So make sure you stay tuned in, tapped in, put that seatbelt down. Let's get these picks. All right, first and foremost, we're going to start out the quarterback position because why not? Top down. That's where we're starting here. Joe Burrow's number is at 278.5 passing yards the last 5 games. Philadelphia, 234. Vegas, 251. Baltimore, 428. Chargers, 356. Pittsburgh, 309. I was going to say 329. 309. Again, when you do look at the Cincinnati Bengals and where those games have been, Pittsburgh, at home, outdoors. Chargers, at the Chargers, indoors. Baltimore, at Baltimore, outdoors. Raiders, at home, outdoors. That one game that was indoors was against the Chargers, against Herbert, where they could push the offense. It was 34-27 in that game. Burrow threw the ball 50 times. He had 3 touchdowns, 356 yards. Targeted Higgins and Chase each 13 times apiece. Remember, Higgins had that 9 for 148 in one game. That was in prime time. I think that was Sunday Night Football, if I recall right. Chase, 7 for 75, 2 touchdowns. And the opposing side, you obviously had Herbert go for 297, 6 for 123 to McConkey. All things were shooting in that game. I expect similar in this game. I don't think this is a game where Cincinnati is going to all of a sudden lock Dallas down, or the inverse. I don't think Dallas is going to all of a sudden lock Cincinnati down. So 278.5 passing yards. He's cleared it by 30 plus in each of the last 3 games. But it has come down because Dallas' defense has gotten a little bit healthier. But we're going to go Joe Burrow, 278.5 passing yards. Now let's go to the receiver room because we like all these receivers. So we're going to tap into almost all of them. First and foremost, let's go to CeeDee Lamb on the Dallas side of things. 69.5 receiving yards. Feels a little bit low. The last 2 games, he's been down. 67 and 39 against the Giants, 67 against Washington. He did have 93 against the Houston Texans just a few weeks ago. I think this is a game where Lamb continues to kind of build and try to get back to where he was a month ago. Last week, again, 6 targets, 2 for 39 in that game. He's just not where he needs to be. I think this is a game at home, Monday night, get an extra day's rest. I think we're going to get a different Lamb. Remember, 12 targets, 10 for 67 against Washington just 2 weeks ago. So I like the value we're getting on a Lamb. And Lamb's a guy that, when healthy, should be more around where Chase's numbers at. Chase's numbers at 81.5 tonight. T. Higgins at 73.5 tonight. Lamb's numbers should be 84, 85.5 when he's 100%. There's a reason a lot of people are taking this number tonight. I'm taking 69.5 receiving yards. Nice. I like it a lot. All right, staying in the Dallas Cowboys receiver room, I'm going to receptions, and receptions are going to give me the favor of Brandon Cooks. Or no, sorry, I'm going receiving targets. I read that wrong. I'm doing receiving targets for Brandon Cooks, not receptions. So I do receptions with T. Higgins. Receiving targets with Brandon Cooks. His first game back was against the Giants this last week. 7 targets. Before that was September 26th, his last game. He had 4 targets. Baltimore 6. In the season opener, he had 7 against Cleveland. When he's in the game, he's targeted. Again, only 1 game, extremely small sample size with Cooper Rush. Really not a lot to kind of hinge on here other than him being the number 2 receiver in this offense. We knew in the preseason what he was going to be in this offense, and Brandon Cooks is healthy, so we're playing him. He plays, we play. That's the rules for some of these guys, especially like Brandon Cooks. You're getting a touch of value here. This number should be like 5.1, 5.2 as far as the projection goes. Receptions, like I said, receptions a minute ago. Receptions, we're going to go to T. Higgins. So T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I looked at targets. I thought about it. But when you look at targets for these guys, Higgins is 9.5. Jamar Chase is 10. Those numbers are a touch high. Lamb, if you're wondering, is also at 10.5. Higgins at 9.5 is like, I like it, but it's a touch high. He probably has to get there to get this number, but I'm betting on the big hands of T. Higgins. He had 10 targets last week, 5 receptions. Chase had 9 targets, 6 receptions. I don't care. I like the number I'm getting here at 5.5 receptions rather than 9.5 targets. I'll take the T. Higgins side of this, 5.5 receptions. And the last one, last but not least. So 5 picks tonight. Last but not least, rush plus receiving yards. Rico Dowdle. So last couple of weeks we've taken Chase Brown for rush plus receiving. I think Chase Brown we've taken now 4 times on the season. It looks like week 1, week 5, week 13, and 14. So week 13, his number was 97.5 rush plus receiving. This week it goes up to 103.5. If it was south of 100, if we got it at 98.5 again, I might take it at 98.5 for Chase Brown. 103.5. I like it a little bit less. But I still am interested in it. Rico Dowdle, though, that's the one I'm taking here. Rushing plus receiving yards. The Bengals are middle of the pack in the NFL right now in rushing plus receiving yards allowed to running backs. The last 2 games, they've utilized Rico Dowdle. 98 rush plus receiving against Washington, 123 against the Giants this last week. Before that, it was Houston and Philly, 34 and 56. Atlanta, 107. I think Rico Dowdle stays on this track, 90.5 rush plus receiving. Probably my least bullish take of the 5, but that's where we stand tonight. Again, so Joe Burrow, 278.5 passing. Brandon Cooks, 4.5 targets. T. Higgins, 5.5 receptions. CeeDee Lamb, 69.5 receiving yards. And last but not least, Rico Dowdle, 90.5 rush plus receiving yards. Those are the 5 picks for tonight. I don't see any kicking points available at this current stage. I've been looking for them. This is a game that potentially opens up the door for some kicking points, but actually it looks like Brendan Aubrey, they must have just opened this up. It wasn't here 10 minutes ago. Brendan Aubrey, 7.5 kicking points is available. Indifferent. Wish that was 6.5, not 7.5, but I'm indifferent on that one. If you're looking for other stuff like Cooper Rush, 234.5 passing yards is available for CeeDee Lamb. The number 68.5, obviously 6.5 receptions. Chase Brown, 74.5 rushing, 16.5 rush attempts. 102.5 rush plus receiving, 103.5 rush plus receiving, wherever you find it. A lot of numbers out there over at underdogfantasy.com. Go ahead and over there today. Use that promo code ROSTER to get a deposit bonus up to 50% on $1,000, up to $1,000, I should say, 50% on up to $1,000. We appreciate you. We love you. Those are the 5 picks. Stay tapped in. RosterWatch.com. You see at the bottom of the screen at RosterWatch on YouTube, on X, everywhere. Become a pro member today at RosterWatch.com to get all the rankings, the DFS tools, trade targets. The fantasy football playoffs start technically tomorrow. We appreciate you. We love you. Click that like button on your way out. Click subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow for the Waiver Wire Show.
This is Anthony Richardson. You're listening to Roster Watch.
This is AJ